Meg again. Today we're with Heather Hemmens. Oh my gosh, it's just been so long since we've been together. And she's a very successful actress now out in LA. So we're like I'm so super excited to do this today. Thanks for doing it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to talk to someone from my hometown. Always very exciting.
That's great. So listen, tell me a little bit about your involvement with the Maskers. I know I directed you in one show, but you were in others.
Yeah, my very first community play that I ever did is really my first play outside of school too, was The Boyfriend. Mm-hmm. I remember, I was like 14 or 15 and I came in and auditioned for you. And then I went on to do maybe 3 or 4 shows after that until I graduated high school and moved away. It was my home. That was where I learned so much about the art and about having a loving cast around me. I have such great memories of my summers at the Maskers. It was just a lot of fun. And it was also something that my dear mentor helped me discover. She brought me to my first audition. And so that was something that was special.
Yeah. And you were in Here Comes the Judge?
Yeah, Here Comes the Judge, Scapino, The Boys from Swanville. I think all of them, yeah, starting with The Boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try to share the screen here and see if, look at that. How old were you there, Heather, do you think?
I think I was 14.
14, yeah, and you did some singing for us. That was beautiful. Loved it. Oh. Let's see, what else have I got here?
Oh, man.
Yeah. You played a prosecutor.
Yes, I played in the...
Yeah.
Who takes off her glasses, lets down her hair, and sings at the end.
You got it.
I was 5. That's the song I sang. And that song has stayed with me my entire career. It's just really been one of those songs that becomes the soundtrack of your life, you know?
Yeah, that was such a fun show. So out of all of the times that you were with the group, you have a favorite memory, just something that happened you've never forgotten?
I remember the very last show that he did, The Boys from Swanville. I sang this Whitney Houston song. And we did that show outdoors. We actually did it out on the big deck.
Yeah.
Show, the theater was down at the railroad. And it was just one of those beautiful summer nights. And I don't think it was the first performance of the show, but I remember just looking out into the audience after doing that Whitney Houston song. And everyone, it was just silent. And I saw my parents sitting there, and my parents had tears in their eyes, and the whole audience was just silent. And then all of a sudden, everyone started, just having a reaction, a positive reaction to the performance.
Wow.
And I just remember thinking that there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like pouring your heart out on a stage and exposing yourself creatively and having that received in a good way. Taking on a Whitney Houston song is probably not a great idea at 17.
That's very bold. So when did you decide you wanted to do this professionally?
It was the very first time I came in and did a play. The reason that my mentor brought me in to audition at the Maskers was because I had only done one other play before, and that was in her class. She was my 5th grade teacher. I had done one play before. I played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz in 5th grade. And as my mentor, I was getting to a place where she was like, what do you want to do with your life? What do you enjoy doing? What can you pursue for a career? So when you go into high school, you can focus on something and get your grades up. And, she asked me the right question. And all I could think of was like, well, I had fun when I did that play in your class. And she was like, okay, great. So we'll go find another play for you to do. And that's how she brought me to the Maskers audition. And I never looked back from there. It was like, that was what I wanted to do. And she helped me find a scholarship for Performing Arts High School that I went to my last 2 years of high school. And I came home in the summer and did a play with Maskers. And then I moved out to LA after high school to continue pursuing it. There was really nothing else that I wanted to do as much as acting.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing professionally since you moved to LA.
Well, it's been a long time, so a lot has happened, but the condensed version, the first few years I got out here were very difficult. Everything you hear about happening in LA when you try to go, it happened. It's terrible. I had a really rough few years. Finally, about 4 or 5 years in, I got a breakthrough in a show called Hellcats. I got my first series regular role, they call it, on a television show, which is a big jump. And that was an incredible experience. And then after that, I had about a 2 or 3 year rough patch again, trying to get more work after that show was canceled. We did 1 season, canceled. So then I got another show with Tyler Perry called If Loving You Is Wrong. And that show changed my life because of the longevity of it. Actually, our very last episode ever is airing tomorrow night. So I'm in a fortunate position to have had that show for 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And we filmed it in Atlanta. And that put me in a position in my life where I was able to have the livelihood I wanted. I was able to buy a property. I was able to travel a bit. So that really changed my life into being a successful working person. Mm-hmm. Then that show ended about a year and a half ago, even though there's a backlog of episodes that they're airing. And so right now I'm on another show called Roswell, New Mexico. And we're about to go back for season 3. So again, I'm very gifted with being able to be on a show that goes multiple seasons. And I can call it my home. And that airs tonight as well. Monday, today's Monday. But the last episode of that season airs tonight. And then I have the last episode of my other show that airs tomorrow. I'm in one of those fortunate positions that never happens, especially for an African-American on network television, to have 2 shows on the air right now. I'm very excited. And then on the other side of things, something I've been working on, chipping away at for years now, I directed several shorts, films, and I've really wanted to direct, and I've been working on it, and I have just received the approval to direct an episode of Roswell when we go back.
Congratulations! Oh, that's so awesome. That's kind of how I kept contact with you, is I'd see, Hemmens is in this. Oh, okay, gotta watch it. So I kind of feel like I've seen you, but not like this, and not to be able to talk. So, your work is amazing. I really like it.
Thank you. I've been blessed, and I've worked so hard, and it's exciting to be at a point now where I can see where I've come from and also know the journey to get there and be still making strides in my career and moving into directing. And so I'm feeling very, very, grateful that the hard work is starting to pay off.
So just for people that don't know how it works, because I think it would be interesting, when you get your scripts for Roswell or whatever, I mean, how long do you have to learn an episode?
We get the script anywhere from 5 to 9 days before we start filming that episode. Mm-hmm. It's usually more on the 5-day side. Sometimes 4 or 3, depending if the writer's room is busy and what's happened. So, but you always have a few days in advance to learn a scene, and you get so used to it over the years that memorizing 5-6 pages is the last thing that you're worried about when you show up to set. Yeah. I mean, working with Tyler Perry, because a lot of directors have different styles of working, and he has his own format for television. And so we would be shooting 60-70 pages a day with Tyler Perry. And so as an actor, maybe 20 to 40 of those pages could be yours. So memorization, you can do it. I know it seems like a lot of work sometimes when you get it, but it's just repetition over and over and over. And I've surprised myself. I think the most pages I've had in a day is like 50 pages. And I didn't think that was humanly possible to memorize all that.
Yeah.
But you can do.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So really, what other advice might you have for anybody who's thinking of pursuing acting or it's the same thing. We've got some people that they're doing lighting design professionally, things like that. So any advice?
Yeah, well, I would say if you're thinking of pursuing acting and you're not sure, don't do it.
Okay.
Difficult career, all of the arts are difficult. If there's anything else that you want to do that is a better plan B, go and do that. If you have nothing, sorry, home interview, my dog is barking at someone. If you have nothing else that you would like to do and this is your passion, then you have to study. You have to find mentors, find acting classes. I still work with an acting coach on occasion. You have to work so hard at your craft. You have to work harder than the people next to you. And then you have to live life and have fun. Something that changed for me is when I stopped sitting at home in my house and waiting for auditions and praying for change to come in my life. And I was just like, you know what, I'm doing all I can. And then I went to just live my life and have fun, because those experiences, they bring richness to your work. When you've had your heart broken, when you've been dating and you have perspective on that, or you've, had hardships in your family, all those things build character that you're then able to bring to your work. So don't be afraid to live your life. Do not, I spent a lot of my years as a hermit just thinking I had to, buckle down and be the student, and it's good, but try to have a good quality of life as well.
Yeah. Well, and you have to be able to take rejection. That must be horrible out there. There's so many people.
Absolutely. There's a lot of rejection every day. You get used to that part too. And then you start to realize, as like the jobs that I have booked, they have all come to me with ease and just because they were meant to be. So it doesn't matter how hard you hold on to things or fight for things. If it's yours, then it's meant to be yours. And if it's not, I have had circumstances like there was this job I really wanted before the Tyler Perry show that I got. I wanted it so bad. I thought it was mine. I didn't get it. I was devastated. Then I went on a month later to book Tyler Perry show, which gave me 5 years of work.
Yeah, so it was definitely
a show that I had wanted so bad. Never went anywhere. They didn't even finish doing the pilot because I guess the director everything was a mess, and it never went anywhere. Had I gotten that show, I wouldn't have had 5 years of work that changed my life with Tyler Perry. So at some point you have to give it up to the universe as well, and just, do your part, put one foot in front of the other, do your work, and then just know that you have to hands off after that.
Yeah, I think it looks so seamless when we see you in a show. It looks seamless, easy, whatever. And people don't see all that hard work, behind it, There
are tears. There is blood, sweat, and tears.
Sure.
But it's worth it when you're doing what you love, and that the payoff when you get that moment, you get that phone call that hey, it's yours. You booked it. You're getting on a plane, that stuff is so exciting.
Yeah.
And it continues they're few and far between, but like I said, I've been really lucky that when I've gotten a job, it's been very substantial and it's lasted me a long time. And that was meant to be my path. So, everyone just has to figure out their own path. But something I will say is you can never skimp on the work, because when that opportunity does come to you that you have prayed and wished for, you don't want to be the one who messes it up because you're not prepared. Yeah. So always be prepared for good things to happen.
That's wonderful. Anything else you want to tell us, Heather? This has just been so much fun, and it's unbelievable that it's been this many years.
I know.
I don't know where the time went, but anything else in your life you want to talk about?
Well, I think this is just, I'm just sitting here as evidence that things can change with time. I was a girl in the woods trying to get rides to play rehearsal at the Maskers Theater and not knowing how I was going to get home sometimes. And, and now I'm in LA and I'm living my dream. So just always, always dream big, keep the hope, keep the faith. And sometimes it doesn't look like things are happening, but now we can sit here, 16 years later or something, and a lot has happened. So you just have to hang in there.
Yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough for doing this. It means the world to us. It's been 32 years, and we're actually are very lucky that we have had an influence on so many people who are now working their craft, and making a living at it. And again, thank you. It's wonderful to see you.
Thank you, Meg, for having the Maskers up and running all these years, and for people like me to get their start and get their feet wet and figure things out, and then come out to LA looking like a pro, because I had great experience at the Maskers that trained me right. I had a supporting, loving community that the Maskers offers. So I really, really appreciate that. I cherish my memories of my summers with you guys, and thanks for keeping it going.